This is a political process. There's not anything judicial about it. Impeachment is a political decision. The House made a partisan political decision to impeach. I would anticipate we will have a largely partisan outcome in the Senate. I'm not impartial about this at all. The trial hasn't started yet, and I'm going to participate in the evidence, listen to the evidence.
That was Senator Mitch McConnell in 2019, ahead of Trump's first impeachment trial, compared to what he said yesterday, ahead of Trump's second impeachment trial. McConnell might still vote to acquit, but he's at least pretending to be impartial this time around. You can say that at least. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It is Thursday, January 28th. Along with Joe, Willie, and me, we have White House reporter for the Associated Press, Jonathan Lemire, founder of the conservative website The Bulwark and author of How the Right Lost Its Mind. Charlie Sykes is with us. He's an MSNBC contributor. Good to have you both.
You know, though, Willie, about Mitch, regarding Mitch, he's been trying since January the 6th. Well, actually, he's been trying since after the president's election and before January 6th. To drag his not contest the electors. This will end very badly for us. It's like Mitch warned us. He warned America. He warned Republicans, don't do this. Josh Hawley did it anyway. Josh Hawley famously was too good, too smart. Little bird-handed.
Okay.
Insurrectionist against the United States of America, but he ignored Mitch, and then, you know, Mitch post January 6th sent another signal to Republicans, which was what the president did was impeachable. Did it off the record, then on the record last week said the president's actions led to the insurrection, to the riot, and his party. I mean, you know, you would think they would listen to him after they lost both seats in Georgia. But they're not doing it, and Mitch McConnell knows. The Republican Party is cracking in half, and he's telling Republicans in the Senate what they can do to save their party, but they're too scared about saving their own seat to even think that way.
Well, they ignored him almost unanimously. 45 out of 50 of them voted for that Rand Paul motion the other day, including Mitch McConnell. So the problem with his statement yesterday, where he said, I'm going to listen to the evidence, we're going to have a trial, and then I'll make my decision, is that he has already voted and been on the record with the Rand Paul motion saying that the trial is unconstitutional. So Rand Paul came out of that vote and said, how on earth could you ever say that the trial is unconstitutional and then vote to convict? That's when Rand Paul said, this is over, it's dead on arrival. So yes, Mitch McConnell probably didn't want to be here, but it looks like now that they are here, that Republicans are here, that the tide has overwhelmed him, that he's going to have to go ahead and vote to acquit the President of the United States.
Well, Charlie Sykes, we'll see what happens between now and impeachment, and if his caucus overwhelmingly votes to acquit and you're the majority leader and you want to stay the majority leader, you're going to vote to acquit. It's like, I know this might tick some people off, but I understand why Mitch did what he did yesterday. Like, you're a majority leader. You keep trying to drag them along. Say, hey, insurrection is bad. Like being on the side of cop killers is bad. Being on the side of Trump terrorists are bad. Obviously, not enough of them were persuaded with that vote yesterday. So if you're the majority leader, you're like, OK, I'm going to vote with them. And then I'm going to try to pull them my way for the impeachment vote, which, again, is a signal he sent yesterday. I understand it's nuanced, and we do not live in the land of nuance in Washington, D.C. and on cable news and talk radio, podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. But that is what's going on. And I think the fascinating story here is, I'm not putting a halo over Mitch. I think what the fascinating story here is, you've got a guy that has proven himself to be extraordinarily cynical. And he is being extraordinarily cynical in trying to save the Republican Party from themselves, from their worst instincts, from the Trump terrorists. And they won't listen to him.
Yeah, well, it's time to move on. I mean, it's been a whole 3 weeks, and there's only 6 people who are dead. You know, the extraordinary thing, Joe, is both the speed and the thoroughness of Republicans crawling back to Donald Trump in less than 21 days. So you have McCarthy down in Florida who is going to kiss the ring. And the thing about Mitch McConnell is that he knows better. He knows what happened. He knows that there was an insurrection inspired by the president of the United States who used all the powers of his office to overturn a free and fair election. He knows that. He knows the stakes of it, and he's still going to go along with all of this. What's interesting about this is that, what's their excuse now? You and I, Joe, heard from people saying, look, okay, so Trump is awful, but at least we're going to get justices, we're going to get judges, we'll get tax cuts, we'll get regulatory cuts. Well, guess what? Donald Trump is gone. You're not going to get any of that stuff anymore. The Faustian bargain has expired, and yet they're still going along. There are senators who are not even running for re-election. That they can't even claim that they're afraid of the tweets because he doesn't tweet anymore, and yet they're going along, which gives you an indication of just how thoroughly the Republican Party has been Trumpified and corrupted.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.